Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment. You can listen to The Mike O'Mara Show at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Well, what have we here?
It's a podcast.
Fine.
And what excitement we have today.
It's The Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara and Robb Spiewak. Now, here's Mike.
I have to admit that I was the GOAT F today. I was the one that caused the delays. I think you know me well enough, Rob, to know how passionate I am now about getting her done in the morning and making sure that we have our act together in the morning. And it's all my fault, and I feel horrible
every
when
now
that
and
happens.
then something happens, and I feel it's out of our control. And I hope that myself and Oz the Great and Powerful, I hope we didn't make you feel like you were the GOAT F.
No, but when you call, when I know that I'm not communicating with you and I'm running around, we have a very key piece of equipment that is across the room.
Yes.
So it's up, down, up, down. It should be right at my fingertips to adjust it, but it's not there. Yesterday, something happened that I did not think about until this morning. I didn't even write it down.
You've been teasing this, Mike.
Because I said that I came in today, the computer was off. When I say off, it was not what it normally, the settings. The audio chain was off in this studio. There are a few little things that have to be adjusted every day, but usually I go back to the settings that were there.
Right.
And most importantly, there were a series of pulleys and wheels that had been effed with. And my son is in school all day, and then I'm with him for the rest of the afternoon, and he does not come in here.
Right.
However, I will take you through yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday, because this is how it works when you are over the mileage in your lease. Everything begins to go on the car. And when you return the car after a lease, if you don't fix it, they will charge you to fix it, and I would imagine they would charge you at a premium to fix it.
What
That's
I like to
just,
call my
what I would do.
dealership rates.
So it behooves me to go to the local tech center, not the dealership, to get the car. But they are certified, so it's all the legit stuff they do. And so yesterday was the day that Mrs. O'Mara and I are going to venture out, because this morning is going to be what I like to casually refer to as a GOAT F, getting my son to school, getting Carla to work, getting ready to do this show, and make it available for you to eat. And so what happens was we are at the very last minute. Carla says to me, this is about 6:30 last evening. Okay, let's take your car over. They have a key drop
Yeah, of course.
at the service center, which is very convenient, and you can just drop it off anytime after hours, and they'll deal with it first thing. Why are you chortling at that?
Because
Why?
it's lovely. It's a key drop, which is lovely.
Well, it's, sure.
It's standard. Yeah, it's a good thing to
what?
have. It's a good thing to have, especially in this busy world. You don't always
Thanks.
have the chance to drop things
Great.
off during
Glad you
business
think
hours.
that. All right, that's good. I'm happy you approve of their key drop.
Mike, I wish,
yes.
you know what? It's no
Yes.
big deal that you were a little late. Don't be
Here it is.
fussy at
Well,
me.
let me
I'm
just,
sorry
let
I
me
called
just,
to
let
help.
me just tell my story here,
All
for
right.
God's sake.
All right.
So I go to the key drop, and we do what was happening at the last possible second. At the last possible second, I look over, and Jake the Snake in my garage here, the garage door is open, and I look over at my Jake the Snake and I realize how pathetic my life is. Really, sometimes I do.
Wasn't going to say a word.
I realize how, and I said, "Oh, he's made doo-doo." And I don't wish to, and he's in the far corner. I don't think he likes
The far corner of his cage or
of his
the
enclosure.
garage? Okay,
Yes,
and
his
he is
terrarium.
made. Yeah, he is made.
He's made poo, snake poo, and I think much like people, if I was kept in an 8x10 room, I wouldn't want to be in a room where I defecated. And
Like,
I look
that's
at
what
this.
separates us from the animals.
Carla is in the driveway, feet away. I was going to grab a pallet of Diet Coke, empty cardboard pallet to put in the recycling because trash day is today.
Right.
This is my mundane, pathetic. I would love to have people doing all this for me, but I don't. I do
Mike,
it all myself.
it may interest you to know
Yes,
that Wednesday is my trash day.
that's good. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. And
So
I'm
if
sure,
you ever miss,
I'm
I
sure
can always
you
fill
are
in.
the first one out. I bet you are the first one out there with your trash barrels.
Mike, here's the thing that will surprise you is I usually only put out trash every other week when the kids aren't home. We don't generate enough trash to fill the can.
Bite me. Carl and I, we will have a carbon footprint the size of a freaking T-Rex for the rest of my life. So at the last minute, I'm getting the cardboard pallet of the empty case of Diet Coke
Yeah.
that I got at the box store.
So it's
that
a
I
30
like to
pack.
keep on hand. That, by the way, that I keep on hand. I make sure we have it in stock, and Carla drinks as much of it as I do, but she doesn't admit it.
Well, Mike,
So,
it's fine. You know, they are so delicious when you put them in a TMOS koozie. It's hard to resist them.
the last day for T-shirt sales.
That's right. So you want to
Midnight
get those
tonight's
in
the
at
last time you can get them. These are the
TMOSstore.com.
koozies He's talking about.
Yeah.
See, anytime you want to get me back on track, have me sell something, and I will be back on track. So, get in the cardboard, and I notice out of the corner of my eye, poo in the enclosure.
Oh, poo.
Since trash day is tomorrow,
Right.
that is something I ought to take care of right now, because then it can go away from the house instead of leaving it either in a receptacle or in, for God's sake, the enclosure, which I
Does
don't
it
want to
smell
do.
snake poo?
Sometimes snake pee seems to smell worse than snake poo.
Mm-hmm.
Snake poo is really nothing, but snake pee, when he really lets that go, they don't pee like normal creatures pee. I think they wait a long time and then
Yeah.
and it comes out. I don't know. You'd have to check with a. Is it a herpetologist?
No, that would be someone who looks for sores on your face, I think.
No, that's herpes. I'm talking about a
Oh.
herpetologist would be a reptile expert.
I will find out for you. But I'm glad that
Don't
you were
you
able to
know
spot the poo.
magna
I
cum
don't.
laude? Don't you know that off the top of your from your science classes?
Yeah, I took so much science as a broadcasting major.
Well, you're the one that likes to trumpet the fact that you were the A student at Virginia Commonwealth University.
I
But
haven't trumpeted that at all this day.
This day, no. So getting back to, I see it, I clean it, I put it in the trash, I take the trash out to the street, and I'm out. Right. And I will deal with his enclosure later. That comes into play last night at bedtime. At
Okay.
9:15, I am, what was I going in here to go? Okay, we are right before bed, about 9:15 p.m., Michael and I are trying to get his sliding closet door. Yes, it's a sliding door. For those of you that live in gnome houses, little bitty ticky-tackies like I do, that is there will not be a door that opens like a normal door to a closet. No, that would indicate space. That would indicate that you've got room to elbow room. Not that you live in a thimble house designed for people who are going to die soon.
I don't know about that.
So my son's closet, as many closets are, is a sliding door closet. And
Does
the
it
technology,
hang more than it sort of hangs on wheels, right? Does it have a bottom track?
It's got wheels at the top and it's got a bottom track.
Okay, and Mike, by the way,
What?
herpetologist. Reptile
Thank you.
expert.
Reptile expert.
Yeah, good job.
I'm glad I got that right. So we are working on it, and he's just it's delightful to see him with that can-do, I'll help Dad, and we start obsessing over it, and it's not working because the technology that is put in place for those doors makes it problematic.
What is
It
your
really does.
analysis of the problem going in?
It's not on the track.
It's off
on
the
either
track.
top or
Okay.
bottom. It's literally off. The door is out of the closet. We were sliding it back
Well,
in.
you know,
and
he'll
trying-
probably be happier that way
Why?
because he's out of the closet. He no longer has anything to fear. It's very proud when someone comes out.
I'm gonna. If I could, I'd come across at you. I come across at no. Are you making this into an we're outing him out of the closet joke?
Mike,
Is that what you're doing?
It was simply
as
a
I'm
pun.
talking about
That's all.
my son. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No,
and I
but
would
the
love
door,
him.
Mike.
I
The
would
door
love
is out.
him.
You said the door is out of the closet.
The door is out. Oh, and you're saying the happier door.
It's a happier door now. Yeah. Glad we did that.
What?
I'm glad we.
Now you're going to
devoted that
take a
much
poll
time to
after
that.
you have your little under breath comment. What is that? What you're
Mike,
going to take a poll?
I'm
of
glad
your
we
tea?
took the time to analyze it. It's good for the joke.
So, anywho,
Yes.
I'm wrestling with it. We have a last minute popping it onto the bottom track, which is problem. We knew if we can sort of lift it up, pry it up. I know there's a tool in the there's a tool inside the garage at my toolbox that will pry that up and lift that up and pop it right onto the track, and we should be okay. I go out to get the tool, look to my right. The top of Jake's enclosure had not been replaced 4 hours earlier.
At this
snake.
initial, Mike, when you initially realized that.
How
and you
loud
see-
was that, by the way?
It was
that super
perfect.
loud?
No, it was perfect.
Thank you.
When you see that and you go through, I'm sure, an immediate thought process, you say, terrarium's uncovered. You notice
Yeah.
that he's not in the terrarium, obviously, right?
Right.
Do you think there is any chance that he made a break for it in the
Well,
wild blue way yonder?
he's not in the terrarium. If you leave
No,
that
but I'm talking
off-
about, you said that the door was open for a while in the garage. Do you think he might be
No,
out of doors?
No, because he was in there when the door. I closed the garage door when we left.
Okay, good.
The garage door has been closed the whole time.
Good.
The terrarium lid, the little screened lid,
Yes.
is off. It's been off for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. He's gone. But I believe because the door to the house was shut, and I don't think he has the capability like mice do of flattening their bodies. These are all
Have you
thoughts
ever-
that go through my head.
Have
Yes.
you ever given the snake a key? So he could get in.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
Mike, you know what? I'm just trying to lighten the mood because I
Yeah,
know this
good.
is a
All right.
this is a
Lighten
hard
this.
situation.
Lighten that.
Mike,
All right.
that's crude.
I know he is in the garage. Almost 100% sure. He has escaped. This would be the third or the fourth, perhaps the third. I think it's the third escape from Jake. Twice, my fault. Probably all three times my fault for just racing around and forgetting
Sure.
to put the lid back on. And so the hunt begins. Michael is calm. I'm calm. I am relatively confident he will be found in the garage, and it'll probably be less of a hassle than it would be in a bedroom.
Of
There's
course.
just
Now, in
less
previous-
stuff going on in here.
In previous escapes, does Jake have a place that he likes to go in the garage?
In previous escapes, he has gone upwards, where he's a climber. That's what they live in trees, so they're climbing. It's not scary until I tell Mrs. O'Mara, and then she freaked out, and then she said some very hateful and cruel things to me about when I die, the fate of the snake, and that is not. I did not need that at the end of the night, but I'll get to that in a second.
She brings that up, like
She
after
does.
you're gone. Oh, that's dark.
Well, we'll get to that
All
in a
right.
second. Michael comes in. The door's still not fixed. We now have a priority where at about 9:20 at night, it's a snake hunt. Michael, God bless him, finds the snake. That water heater I have in here
Yeah.
at the corner, the back right-hand corner?
Yeah.
His little snake head is sticking out from the corner of the water heater. I reach down, and he retreats, and you hear the... Not that he's hissing. He's just sliding along underneath the water heater.
Well, he wants
and
out. He doesn't like the terrarium. He likes
doesn't-
having the garage.
They are. This is on a video I saw when I first got the snake. It was said that they are escape artists. That if you don't have the proper kind of terrarium or you leave it open, and they like to roll. They love to get out. That's what because they're that's the way they roll.
Yeah.
I see the snake. We have it located. I finally get the thing out, and it's back into the terrarium. And as soon as I put him into it, he was going up the side like he wanted to get out again.
He was checking to see if the top was there because he thought
he liked his adventure.
Before. Yeah,
he liked his adventure. And the animal rights activist in me, Rob, thought that perhaps if only I could give him more space. Much like I say about my own family here. If only I could give them more space.
I mean,
maybe
ideally,
we wouldn't have sliding closets that we would need to maximize the space for my son's teeny tiny little closet.
Ideally, would you like to have like a snake room that he can have?
When you see my favorite guys online, there's a guy that handles cobras. He's on the east coast of the state, and he's been bitten by a cobra and actually lost the tip of his finger. He's a young guy. He's really cool. Don't know his name. Maybe someday we'll have him on the show, or maybe not. I don't know.
Well, might want to get to him sooner rather than later.
Young dude knows how to, but he has massive enclosures for his larger snakes. But no, snakes
How much
are
of his
fine.
finger is missing? Like an inch, or just the very tip?
Above the third knuckle.
Wow, that's more than the tip. That's probably half a finger.
Well, as I used to say at American University all the time, just the tip. I don't know why I said that, but I did.
I think we were both dancing around it. I'm glad you said it.
I'm calming down. Flash forward to this morning.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you guys, and you said your level's not right. Your level's not right. And I suddenly realized that he's crawled all over this studio.
That's
and what
true.
does a snake do? What does a snake do? He rolls across knobs, and volumes get turned down and turned up, and things get messed up. And even my camera setting, which has an automatic switch, he somehow disrupted that. I think, unless there was a ghost that came in here, I think that's what it had to be. I think that's exactly what happened when he came in here.
It's amazing that he can figure out the camera presets better than we can.
Tell the truth. If you really want to be honest, you can. Better than I can.
No, because I can't do them either. I've worked with that model of camera before. I can never remember how to preset it. And yet the snake is in there resetting everything.
I will try to do it after the show today, but I am serving now with my back injury and not going out. I thought about what I do down here, and what I do with my life is I do this show, and then I am free 3 or 4 days a week to venture off and spend the rest of my day pursuing the sport that I love.
Right.
And not only is it pursuing a sport I love, it is my opportunity to falsely pretend that I have something really important to do. I don't. It's not important, but it gets me out of the house.
It is important to you.
It's important to me, and I realize that I am not a Mr. Mom kind of guy. But because I am in the house, and Carla knows this because I am injured with my back, that I have to wait to get fixed until the great God of government smiles its face on me on June 1st. I'm not paying. So I got to take some time off and rest it because I can't get out there and play.
31 days, Jerry. 31 days.
31 days. And I will be on the government teat as
Bless
where
your
I
heart.
want to be. Damn right. I paid for it.
I know. I'm glad for you. I can't
I'm
wait
happy
for it to happen.
that. So with that said, as Carla ventures off the following day, she says to me, "This is before snake emergency."
Snake.
By the way, the whole time my day was going here at the house, being Mr. Mom, I know that there's a snake crawling around the garage,
right,
all day long, and I'm still coming off this cold that I had too.
And what happened?
What happened to the pictures I was supposed to see this week?
It's the last goddamn time.
So I want somebody to use his effing brain and put the Scarlet recording device next to my hands. So anyway, Carla is gone, and as she's leaving the house yesterday, and I am about to venture into the studio to do an early taping, I said, "Is there anything I can do?" I always say that. Is there anything I can do? Because it shows perhaps not sincerity.
Well, of course it's not sincere on either side.
But it shows back. She said, "Well, you're a good cook. Wouldn't be mine." And I'm like, you know what? That'll relax me. I will make something for dinner. I will actually. Now, this is something you have done your whole life because you were trained by your wife early on in the relationship. This is not something I do. I am
Mike,
not accustomed to.
I am the best wife Carrie could hope for.
Yeah, well, you're more in touch, and I don't mean this to cast any aspersions on you at all. You are much more in touch with your female side than your male side.
It has
You don't
nothing
like
to do
sports.
with that. It has nothing
You
to
don't
do
like
with that.
sports. You don't like conflict. You are low T. Right. But
Actually,
you have
I'm
fathered
not.
2 children. You have fathered.
I am not low T because I have been tested. But Mike, it has to do with how I was brought up.
You like to do domestic things. You like to cook. You like to clean. You like to organize.
Oh, I am so into having a tidy workspace and a clean house and good food. I don't think that makes me a problem.
I don't think. Did I say it was a problem? I said I don't want to cast aspersions. Why are you getting defensive right now? You are in touch with that side, the domesticated side of you. You are very comfortable being in the house, preparing a meal for the family and doing the laundry, right?
I do my laundry. That's it. I don't do
Okay, you don't do Carrie's laundry
No.
well, the kids are out of the house. So do they bring their laundry back home like
and they
I used
do
to
it.
do when I was in college?
And they do it, yeah. So,
but back in the day, did you do everybody's laundry?
never did.
Okay, it was only
because you know
yours.
why? I hate little kids' socks.
I do
me
too.
off.
I'm
So
with you on that one, but
didn't
I
get
don't.
involved in that.
My laundry consists of bringing a laundry basket from my bedroom to the laundry room, and I occasionally will help hang things up.
Yeah, I have a big straw laundry basket that I balance on my head, and I take it into the laundry room and I do my wash. I don't divide by colors. I just do the
Like you're in a third world country.
Exactly, Mike. There's a good way to do
You're wearing
things.
what is it? A sarong?
Yes, a flowered sarong.
You are, but you're more domesticated than I am.
I agree, and also, Mike, what it falls down to is I'm a better cook than Carrie.
Okay.
All the way around. I run a better kitchen. My kitchen is spotless because of my training. And I think that you're a good cook, but I think Carla's cooked for me. She's a good cook too.
I want to see if I've got the sound of the lady that is that I decide that I am going to. It's going to relax me.
Yes.
And I am going to.
And you do that is to be truthful, Mike. You do like to cook. When you fall into some of the things that you are good at cooking, you like it.
So online,
do I.
as you know, you sent me this sound. I've been following this lady.
Lecker.
You know her? Mm-hmm. She is
The German
faceless,
pregnant cook.
and at one point she was wearing an outfit that exposed her midsection with a tie right underneath her chest, and she was pregnant.
Ripe with
she
child.
was cooking ripe with child, and she creates this dish that involves ground beef, potatoes, tomato sauce, and onions. As
Sounds
simple
like
as
a
simple.
goulash almost without the noodles.
It appears to me that I want to make the simplest thing I possibly can. She has more elaborate recipes, but this is super fast.
Right.
It involves browning the ground beef, then adding the onions, then cutting up 4 russet potatoes and cutting them in half, and then dicing them into little half-inch
Shoestrings?
plates. No, listen carefully. If you
I am.
heard me, you cut the potato lengthwise, and then you chop the potato so they're little medallions. They're little tiny half medallions.
Yes, okay, I'm
and
with
then
you.
putting them into a casserole dish with olive oil and paprika, salt, and pepper, mixing
Love
up, and then
paprika.
putting them in the oven at about 370 for 20 minutes where they brown, and then taking the ground beef, putting it on top of the potatoes, and then putting mozzarella cheese on top of the ground beef.
You've drained the ground beef and you've already added the
I did not
potatoes,
drain
right?
it. I did not drain it.
Oh,
I did not
was
drain
it a lean ground beef?
Fatty. Yes, it was lean. So
Okay,
I
well,
wanted
then
to
you're
leave
fine.
the
Yeah.
goodness. It was all right, Alton. All right, and then it was delicious, and the family loved it. But I didn't know that all that time that I'm doing this fantastic meal. By the way, which was, can I be honest with you?
Please.
Really, the behavior of both my wife and my son, it was like it was expected. And and then not until last night,
That's
right
a
when I was crawling into bed.
Trend. That's a bad
Thank you
trend.
so much for making that delicious food. And I said, you made my, and she said it right before bed. And it was like, you made my night, that it was not, this is not the norm. And it made me feel special. And the snake was in his enclosure. And I went to Dreamland with a little assistance from NyQuil, and everything was right with the world. So the day, filled with its ups and downs, and the escape of Jake, and the food that I made, ended up perfect. And the moral of the story is, if you are in a role where you are going to be domestic for a day, embrace it. Grab it by the boobs and squeeze, and take advantage of every moment. And there's still plenty of leftovers there. And the only problem I had with that dish, she makes it with the little balls of mozzarella. She
Fresh
rolls up a little
yes.
ball, the fresh mozzarella, and then she enhances that cheese with shredded mozzarella, which apparently is a different melting consistency.
Yes.
And
we talked about last week. We talked about shredded cheeses and how they're coated, and that people have been washing their cheese to get rid of the chemicals. So the fresh mozzarella is absolutely in its pure state. I imagine it does have a different melting point than the shredded.
And I would have found that out if the Sprouts, the hippie store across the street from us, where I did my grocery
Tell me
shopping,
it's not called Sprouts.
It's Sprouts. It's a chain down here.
You couldn't pay me to shop at a place called Sprouts.
They were the closest alternative, and they have, much like your Lidl or Lidl. Lidl has great beef, and the ground beef was fantastic that I used. However, because they're Sprouts and they cater to Birkenstock wearing cargo pants wearers, you know what they served up?
That's me.
I picked up, but not in the same way. You know what I'm talking about.
You're right.
The shredded cheese I got, and I didn't know until the last second, it says dairy free. And
No!
Mother effer.
Oh, you can't do that. No, it
That's
melts
like
wrong.
sugar-free syrup.
Yeah, believe me, I've dealt with the vegan lifestyle. Julia was vegan for a little while. She's more sensible now, and she's dating a vegan. And they love talking
the mascot?
about. Yeah, they love
and
talking about.
And they're still together.
Being vegan.
How are they doing? How long have they been together?
Like 2 years.
Okay, they got plenty of time. And in the modern age, kids don't get married. I've resigned myself to that fact, that there will not be a wedding. And that's fine with me if I die before a wedding, because then it'll save me some money.
Quit saying that. Yeah, you've got two daughters, expensive.
By the way, at the end of the night, when Carla was aware of the escape of Jake, and she said, just so you know, when you're not around any longer, that snake is going. And I said, I didn't need that. I didn't need the fact that you're going to get rid of the snake. I said, what, are you going to kill it? That's a very violent thing. She says, no, I'll return it to another home. I said, what, are you going to stand on the street and say, snakes for sale? I don't see that on the.
That's my favorite scene in Oliver,
pole.
Mike. That's my favorite scene in Oliver. Snakes for sale.
Lecker.
That's my lady. So
I'm very sorry about the dairy-free cheese. That's a crisis. Also, you know what?
Away.
Yeah,
you
have
threw it away
to.
because it would not have worked with the regular cheese. And so
after the holidays, I also threw away dairy-free butter.
Yeah. Okay. It's the same kind of thing. You want the fresh mozzarella kind of melts in place like a cloud. It just sits there. It doesn't brown all that much. It's like a cloud.
Softens.
The shredded stuff would have probably created a bit of a crust. The next time I make the dish, which I will, because now I can make it off the top of my head. I know exactly how to do it. Not complex at all. By the way, you put the ground beef mixture over the potatoes, cover it with cheese. It's like a potato lasagna. It was spectacular.
You need to name it, Mike. You need to name it, and I think you should call it Potatoes O'Mara.
I'm not sure I want to do that because I don't know whether the German lady has a name for it. Okay. She does have a name for it. The name is Great Rack. That's the name for it. I feel I don't want to be sexist and politically incorrect. God knows we've got that in the news today because of the world tour that Rob wants to talk about of Jerry Seinfeld being everywhere. But it is not something that I relish. I like doing it once every now and then, but I don't think I could do it.
What if you just had to cook for yourself?
I'd hate it.
You would?
I hate it. I don't food since I've been losing the weight. A lot of stuff is prepackaged for me. There are often days that I have a couple of protein bars and vegan bites for dinner. You can eat. That's it. But because I'm injured, what I like to do is I like to be out with the old farts and come in and have a Guinness and talk about the bet and how you played that day, and then come home, have a protein bar, to bed. What a day. Maybe hang out with my kid, throw the ball around with him a little bit. And then at one point, I am exhausted after my day of domesticity, and I noticed that Michael and Carla are in the backyard throwing a football, and I haul myself out, even with my back injury. I said, I've got to participate because this is not right. And I go out there, and yes, I realize in this fluidity of society we live in today that there are no specific roles. A woman can do anything a man can do. Outside of certain things. And so I go out and I throw the ball with him. And the day ended up
Was the reason that she was throwing the ball, is she going to start selling footballs at tmosstore.com?
Michael was told by his head coach to prepare himself for the fall season by improving his short burst running and improving his cuts, which means his shifting in the field, because she said he should be prepared for more time at running back than at equal time at running back and at linebacker, which means he's got to be elusive and he's got to work on that, and that's what he's doing. It's great to watch. I walk outside, he drops a pass, Carlos says, "Get down 5," and he's doing 5 push-ups on the ground. So she's training him, basically.
She doesn't say that to you, does she?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have it.
You might still be out there.
Yeah. So all in all, a great domestic day.
Well, you did, Mike. You did what I have always told you to do: is never go to bed mad at each other.
That happens to us all the time.
No. She thanked you, and all was well. And I bet you had sweet.
How many times did you go to bed without any conversation with Carrie? Be honest.
50%.
Is that good or bad, whether you've had a fight or not, or whether you've had an argument?
Oh, if you mean without arguments, 75%. Sometimes it's just courtesy.
So what's the rule that you're trying to impose on me that you don't follow yourself?
No, they always say you should never go to bed angry.
They always say, okay, that makes sense to me now. I get that.
I don't say that. I was joking when I said that.
I've
gone to bed mad. I've gone to bed mad at the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to.
I know you have. We have a common past, Mike.
It's not the same. If you could follow that, it would be wonderful. But it's difficult to follow. It's difficult to follow where you have the, and then
especially if they're playing with their phones.
Yes, which our spouses tend to do.
Yes, all the time.
But to wake up in the morning and have the fantasy that you will receive an apology that never comes. That is
you wake up and you expect an apology and a jetpack, and neither of them happen ever.
That's it. But a man can hope.
Yeah.
A man can
hope.
As
a matter of fact, we went to bed last night. We were in bed last night, and it was me and her and Linus, and Sebastian was not in bed yet, so there was actually room. And we shut off the lights. I said, "Hey, why aren't you on your phone?" And she says, "Why would I be?" I said, "Because you are on your phone every night when you go to bed. Every night. What's the matter?" She says, "Well, I'm just not on my phone." I said, "Okay." But I think she thought she was being courteous to me by not playing with her phone. But I don't care.
We should discuss the mindless surfing that we all do now.
Yeah.
That supersedes a lot of deeper thinking. I'd love to discuss that at some point with you, because I would assume that when she is on her phone late at night, as my wife is. Now, my wife does a tremendous amount of work for the show. So she's on, responding to customers through her business and through our business. But at the same time, I think most of it is kind of just that mindless.
Yep.
That's why the video shorts are out there. I mean, that's why people consume them. And I just think it has eliminated our if we had short attention spans before, we have even shorter attention spans now.
You know what? I am someone who likes to focus on television and movies and really watch them. But I've even gotten to a point that I scroll while TV's on,
because it's not stimulating enough to sit down and get the gist of a plot, whether it's a television show or not, and linger. And I somehow think that's bad for us as human beings.
I guarantee
that's
you
another
it's bad.
show.
I guarantee you it's bad. Yeah,
we will discuss. We have to take a break.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you ever research stuff you're watching on your phone? I'm big on going to IMDb when I'm watching something on the TV.
Not necessarily the way you do it, but I do it occasionally where I'll see something like an individual or whether somebody like I didn't realize Bob Uecker was alive until right before the show today.
Well, let's check on that.
He's 90. We'll be right back. Summertime, hot weather requires extraordinary hydration, ladies and gentlemen. All right, see, this is the thing here. Thank you very much.
Are you gonna bemoan your new mouse?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Mike,
Liquid IV hydrates
was
you with benefits like electrolytes, essential. Can I do the commercial, please?
Yes, I wish you would.
Yeah, it just crapped out and I did turn it back on. Hydrates you with benefits like electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients. With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink in a single stick, it's clear why Liquid IV is the #1 powered hydration brand in America. The secret is LIV Hydroscience. Is that what it is?
Yes.
LIV
Liquid
Hydroscience.
IV Hydroscience, yeah.
The science-backed formula that's an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients to turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. It's a zero-sugar hydration solution with no artificial sweeteners, clinically tested to hydrate more than water alone. I love this stuff. Tear, pour, live more. 1 stick, 16 ounces of water. In my case, you can put a little more water in there if you want to taste. Hydrates better than water alone. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code TMOS at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TMOS at liquidiv.com, everybody.
Mike, before you... Oh, look, there's the Kraken. He's bemoaning his mouse.
Yes.
The mouse that I recommended to you, you're not using it in the purpose in which I intended. It's a backup mouse for when your primary mouse goes out. Because you can charge that mouse while you're using it. But, granted, it is a cheap mouse, and your Apple mouse will serve you better.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you're over 50 and use any of these terms, you're going to look so chuggy. Do you know chuggy? CHEUGY?
Never heard it. Never heard it.
That's the opposite of cool. CHEUGY.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Rob, you're so chuggy.
Yeah.
Here they are anyway. Somebody polled Gen Zers, and I have a 10-year-old now, and so I am already very aware of antiquated terminology that I use.
Yeah.
And he mocks me for it because, we're months behind, maybe even years behind. They polled Gen Zers, asked them to name the most outdated acronyms that they think are cringe now.
Okay, I know what that is. Yeah.
For example, LOL is number 1.
Laugh out loud.
That's outdated.
You can't use that anymore?
You text that to somebody in their early 20s, they'll think you're a boomer, even if you're not. Here are the 10 more outdated terms and what Gen Zers might say instead. Instead of YOLO, what is YOLO? I don't even know YOLO.
You only live once.
Right. DIFTP. It means do it for the plot.
And I guess the plot is like your life?
You're the main character in your life, so don't avoid things. Do what it takes to move the story along.
Boo, I don't buy that. Not for a minute.
Number 2, instead of KK, do you know what KK means?
It means okay, right?
All right, yeah. You write BET, bet.
Robert
like
uses this a lot. Yeah, Robert uses that
bet
one.
means the same things like you bet. Instead of LMFAO, one of my all-time favorites.
Laughing
I love that.
my
It's something
effing
truly
ass
funny.
off, yeah.
Write IJBOL. short for I just burst out laughing. That's stupid.
That's stupid.
That's force feeding. That's LMFAO is one of the great ones, and you're force feeding something just to be new.
Yeah.
Just to be new, which doesn't work for me. Stop using ROFL.
Rolling
which
on the
is short
floor
for-
laughing.
Right. Instead, just send a skull emoji. Like it's so funny you just died laughing. That I like because ROFL is too much for me.
Yeah,
in my
I
opinion.
oftentimes
I
text the emoji of the coffin to my mother, and it's just to upset her.
Die laughing.
Yes.
Let's see. Don't shorten the word great by spelling GR8. That's old school.
I don't like that.
Say, here's the term. My son knew this. If you think something is great, you say that slaps. The wings at Buffalo Chips. He even used it in a sentence for me. Dad, the wings at Buffalo Chips, they slap.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah,
That's great.
And
I
I've
like
also
that.
I've heard that used to music. That new record slaps. I've heard that.
Don't say diss. Say clap back instead.
Nope, not going to do it.
Stop calling things fire. It's already lame.
Oh, Robert uses it all the time. It must be a West
old.
Virginia thing. Yeah,
It's
well,
old school, and lit is back in style now. That's lit.
Really?
Instead of that's fire. I like lit better than fire. Don't call things gross. Call them ick.
I understand that, but I don't buy that. I think that's still
I don't
gross.
mind the dumbing down a little bit. That's okay with me. Number 9, never say, give me the 411. No one under 40 knows that the number for directory assistance is 411. Instead say, what's the tea? Or spill the tea.
Spill the tea. I've heard this. Yeah.
It's very nice. I like spill the tea. I'm
Yeah.
down with that one, too.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't say down with it anymore.
I don't know, Mike. Just don't diss it.
And number 10, stop calling crazy people cray. In 2024, I love this one too. I like
Yeah.
the last 3. They're delulu. And you know,
I don't mind that. I like that.
That's wonderful.
One of my
I like
favorite
that.
acronyms is on a carved sign at the 29 Diner in Fairfax. Very, very old school diner from the 40s.
Yeah.
And it says YCJYAQFTJB. And everyone sees it and everyone asks about it. And they say, you sure you want to ask about it? And you say, yeah. And they said, your curiosity just cost you $0.25 for the jukebox. And they make you play a song.
Oh, okay. That's your type of thing. You like that, right?
I do, yeah. Because you know why? It's the man getting one over on the customer.
That's what you've always believed in.
I have.
Yes. The Free Britney movement may have been the worst thing that could have happened to Britney Spears.
Mike,
That's how this story started. I had to take it as soon as I read this.
This morning I had a Free Britney movement.
The so-called sources, leave Britney alone if you have it. I'd love to hear it. The so-called sources say Britney is doing way worse than she ever was under her conservatorship. She is completely dysfunctional, apparently, and having radical mood swings.
But is she
And
Delulu?
She's Delulu. Britney is Delulu. Even though she had $60 million when the conservatorship ended, she is now in danger of going broke because she's spending millions on lavish trips to places like French Polynesia and Hawaii.
Yeah, that's nice
TMZ
places.
also spoke with a Hollywood psychologist who has not treated Britney, but his diagnosis from afar is that Britney needs to be back under a conservatorship, and if she's not taking meds, she should be forced to.
Do you think Britney would do better if they didn't pay so much attention to her?
Leave Britney alone! Please!
That's such an old thing.
Leave Britney Spears alone right now!
It's Chris Crocker.
I
Mike.
mean it. Anyone who has a problem with her, you deal with me.
Exactly. Chris.
Because she's not well right now.
No.
Leave her alone.
Mike, she's not well right now.
Oh, that was a fun time. I like that a lot. Hey, in an interview with Page Six, Jerry Seinfeld said political correctness shouldn't be a problem for comedians if they're smart enough to navigate around it. But now in an interview with The New Yorker, it sounds like he's saying the opposite. He criticized, quote, the extreme left and PC crap. He's getting curmudgeon-y, and he will continue to be curmudgeon-y. He's turning into an old curmudgeon.
It's always, the seeds have always been there. He's smarter than everyone else. Just
in his
ask
opinion.
him. Yes, exactly.
Although in the case that he's talking about mostly about TV comedy. Quote, there were no sitcoms picked up on the fall season on all 4 networks, not one. No new sitcoms. Maybe it's not political correctness. Maybe it's because the genre has run its course.
Exactly.
I
and
haven't
also
watched-
options.
I haven't watched a regular sitcom in a decade, and I am not exaggerating.
Mike, no, you watched Little Reindeer. Baby Reindeer.
That's not Baby Reindeer is not a sitcom.
And also you watched, and I didn't think it was funny, but you watched that show with Zendaya on HBO.
That's not a sitcom.
It's not? Everyone was so talking
I don't know
about
the opening to it. Euphoria.
Euphoria. Mike, everyone was talking about it. Great. I didn't laugh at it.
Jerry says that sitcoms aren't being picked up because networks would rather not do comedy than risk offending someone. But he says stand-ups get away with more because, quote, we are not policed by anyone. The audience polices us. We know when we're off track. We know instantly, and we adjust to it. Okay, regarding this, I completely understand the challenges presented to comedians and to sitcom writers when you're talking about political correctness. I have always said that in the realm of comedy, jokes, all of that, I believe people should get more liberty. They should get more of a free pass because the whole concept of joke reality and comedy in many, many circumstances is the lack of political correctness, is the fact that you are saying something totally inappropriate. That's what makes it funny because it's a taboo. You're breaking a societal norm. So coming down on somebody because of that, I get it. I go back and I look at Don Rickles and I see the inappropriate things he said. I don't think of them as politically incorrect. I think of them as a bit dated. And perhaps in the world we live in now, because society's norms change, cringeworthy. I get that. At the same time, I think there's plenty of opportunity to test boundaries with stand-up comedians. And I think it's funny when they do that.
all the time. Yeah,
you know?
I agree. But what bothers me about Jerry is that I will occasionally happen on an old episode of Seinfeld on Comedy Central, and I don't think that show has aged particularly well. It was the hottest thing when it was on, but I don't think it's aged that well. And also, and this is for another time, but I think Jerry is overstepping his bounds by making a movie about Pop-Tarts, and for some reason, it's really pissing me off.
It's right in that B-movie category as far as
that's it. People forgot that was an utter failure, too.
Yeah. And then, he's still trying to, and he's out there and it's all Jerry all the time because he's trying to promote the movie.
And he's
That's the way
smart.
that
He
rolls.
can figure out how to, be better than everyone else.
You'll relate to this. UltimateClassicRock.com put together a list of the 40 longest touring streaks in rock music. In order to qualify, the artist had to have at least one performance in a calendar year. It could be a concert or TV performance. And I have the top 15. You want to try to guess any that you
guess one would be, gosh, I don't think they did it every year, though, but the Rolling Stones have been touring since 1963, and they're touring now. Are they on the list?
Let me see. I'm looking. Not in the top 15.
Okay, let's see. Who else in the 60s?
They skipped 14, though, which I don't understand.
Was there a tie maybe for 15?
Yeah. There was a tie at number 2. All right, let me ask you this. Who do you think's number 1? Longest touring. You know them.
Chicago?
You're close.
Okay. Who is it?
Think same type of music, basically. Same type of, they probably toured together.
Yeah, they do tour together. The Beach Boys?
There it is.
Really?
1961 to the present. 63 years.
Well, because there's 3 organizations touring as the Beach Boys now.
At number 2, it's a tie. Chicago, REO Speedwagon, Santana, Jackson Browne, Blue Oyster Cult, and Van Morrison. That's 67 to the present, 57 years.
A question about REO Speedwagon. They have to have performed every year, but does someone have to come to the show?
They go back a long way.
They do.
Would still look, if I had a free ticket, nothing better to do, I'd go to an REO Speedwagon.
Do you know what an REO Speedwagon is?
No, I do not know.
It's a fire truck. It's a classic fire truck.
Thank you.
There you go.
That makes you happy, doesn't it? When you do
In a
that?
way, yes, it does.
Yes,
because
it does.
not only is it a piece of trivia, but also, Mike, firemen fight for our safety. Let's hear it for the first responders.
Number 8, another megastar.
Oh.
Another megastar on the list. Absolute megastar. Think old.
Old. Did Tony Bennett? Did he?
No, this is rock.
Oh, it's all rock. Old.
Rock music. Elton John.
Elton John. Oh, well, yeah, he's over now. He's
56 years, 68 to the present. At number 9, they put it in the rock category. War and Kool and the Gang, 1969 till now, 55 years.
Both
number
great.
11. Think rock folk, pop folk,
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
America.
Really?
1970 to the present, 54 years America's been on the road.
Yeah.
Number 12, I think you've been to this concert. Cheap Trick. Have you been to Cheap Trick?
I've never seen Cheap Trick.
73 to the present, 51 years. At 13, there is a tie between Eric Clapton and Kansas. 1974 to the present, 50 years. And at number 15, he's a Midwestern icon rocker sucking on a chili dog, ladies and gentlemen.
John Cougar Mellencamp. Or John
John
Cougar.
Mellencamp, 1976 to the present, 48 years. Stones, just watching.
Well,
So
I
they're
think
on
that's
there.
because they took years off. I don't think they qualify for that. But I'm pleased that Kansas and Clapton are tied because Kansas has not come out yet as an anti-vaxxer. But Clapton has.
My eyes.
You had to play that one a couple times.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are only listening to us to drown out the sound of traffic, you're welcome. We might be saving your life right now. A new study found too much traffic noise can literally kill you.
Oh, no.
Probably not today, though. It's a more gradual process. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania worked with experts in Europe to see how the sound of traffic affects your health, and it's not good. They say, case closed. The sound of horns and engines causes significant stress, which leads to heart disease, strokes, and other issues long term. Commuting isn't the only time we're exposed to it. The bigger impact might come from sleeping in an area with heavy traffic, especially if it wakes you up. Well, that would be city dwellers, I would assume.
Yeah, but you know what? That's all European traffic with the horn that goes, na, 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 na.
The added stress leads to more free radicals in your body. That means unstable atoms that can damage cells, causing illness and aging. Space travel, not included.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
A lack of sleep can also cause inflammation, which causes high blood pressure. They say cities should look at more ways to reduce noise pollution. A related study found that for every 10 decibels of excessive noise you're exposed to, your risk of cardiovascular disease increases by about 3%.
That cinches it because I've been trying to quit, but what I've been doing most of the day when we're not on the air is hitting my gong and firing a blank gun. So I'm going to probably
firing a rocket.
Yeah, I drop my pants and fire a rocket.
Let me ask, when you return to your hamlet in the Burg of Lees, do you when you get out of your car, do you hear significant road noise when you get out of your car?
No, it's silent. It's you know what we hear in our neighborhood? Barking dogs. That's it.
That's nice.
I love it.
Nice and gentle. Finally, last week there was a story about road rage where a woman threw spaghetti at another car which was being driven by a pregnant woman. Now there's this. A 46-year-old man in Florida named Nolan Goines got into a road rage incident last Thursday over glaring headlights. According to the police report, Nolan was so upset he threw pasta with sauce from the passenger seat of his vehicle, striking another driver through his open window.
Yeah.
The pasta hit the victim in the arms, legs, and torso. Nolan also got the spaghetti on himself. Neither man was seriously injured. Nolan was charged with misdemeanor battery and booked into the county jail. He's not an Italian chef. He's a painting contractor whose rap sheet includes convictions for selling marijuana, obstruction, and battery. He's had a history with the law.
Yes.
Remember, if you are going to rage out in traffic, throw the pasta, take the cannoli. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that, ladies
That's a good
and gentlemen.
point. Yeah. And I'm sorry. And you say that was John Nolan who did that?
John, former producer of the Mike O'Mara Show, the Don and Mike Show, John Feral Cats Nolan. Wonder if he still has his cats. We'll take a break, and we will come back with more fun and more thrills on the Mike O'Mara Show. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I love this music.
Did you know that Americans pay about twice as much for their wine as the best and the rest of the world. Why?
Why?
I'll tell you why, ladies and gentlemen. Because laws...
Don't rage on your mouse, Mike. That's just a backup mouse. Mouse.
Really glad I paid for it. Laws dating back
It's
to
like
prohibition
$7. It's a backup
ensure
mouse.
the right of wholesalers to make big margins. That's crazy. So listen up. This podcast is sponsored by Naked Wines, a subscription service that seamlessly connects you to the finest independent winemakers on the planet. So you get a box of the market's best quality wines for a fraction of the price you'd normally pay in stores. Plus, you can pause or cancel at any time. So just because you've got a summer trip coming up doesn't mean you can't enjoy Naked Wines before and after that much-needed vacation. Go to nakedwines.com/TMOS and click Enter Voucher in the top right when you get to the website. Then enter TMOS for both the code and password to get 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99 with shipping included. That's $100 off and less than $7 per bottle. nakedwines.com/TMOS and use the code and password TMOS to grab 6 bottles for just $39.99. nakedwines.com/TMOS, code and password TMOS for $100 off your first 6 bottles. Cheers. All right, it's your spot here, Rob Spiewak. What do you want to do?
I want to talk tomorrow about Seinfeld, since we've already talked a little bit about him today. But don't be fooled, America. The NFL is playing you for a rube.
How
you
so?
know this?
I mean, I don't doubt that they are manipulating their viewers and their fans. I think
the
it's happened
seeds
for
were
years.
strewn this weekend on the. Do you listen? I know we're all aware of it, and I've seen it. The Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, one of the wildly popular shows
Very popular.
right now. I think he's on ESPN, right?
Roger Goodell, the good-looking, or as you referred to him, the unkempt commissioner of the NFL.
He looked a little unkempt with his. When you're wearing a non-button-down blue dress shirt and it's undone at the top, you tend to look like you're driving home and taking your tie off from work. Yes. That's the look he had at the first night of the draft.
Right. He is saying, now the Players Union ostensibly is against this. He wants to add another game to the NFL season, give each team 2 bye weeks, and because of this, he says, we can put the Super Bowl on President's Day weekend and you can have Monday off.
I know you don't like sports like I do.
I don't know, but I like to follow football. I watch it, but here's why.
But I love it now. I'm all in. And he's preaching to the choir, and I think he's doing this because they're very calculated. They research what their fans are going to dig. And the idea of having the Super Bowl on a 3-day weekend would be super cool.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that he's extending the season by a week and therefore another week of revenue. Nothing to do with that.
No, of course it is more revenue. Of course, but I mean, I'm not bitter about it, but isn't President's Day, is that a floating holiday? Is it, or is that a regular holiday?
I think it's the second or third Monday in February. I think that's how they figure it. It's always a Monday.
I think it's very similar to doing this, giving people what they want would be very similar to the Mike O'Mara show. Doing a show in Las Vegas. People love it. They like the destination.
No,
we're
not doing it. We're not doing to secretly bilk them out of revenue, Mike. We're doing it because we love to entertain.
Well, we'd like to make a little money on it.
Mike, don't.
We're not bilking. We're not bilking. We're offering a product. You're offering a product, and you are offering a product that would be. I don't care for 2 bye weeks. But you have to do that because of the Players Union, because you can't have them playing an extra game and risking injury and all that. Now, the question
bye
is,
week, as also, that's another week of full revenue for the NFL.
It is another week of full revenue, and it would be interesting to see how the Players Association would react to that, because that you're asking these guys to have a longer season, put their bodies on the line
they're
with
against
more
it,
games.
So they say they're against it.
It's not going to subtract a game. It's going to add a game, but you're going to add a week of rest to heal up, and they have to do that. Is there anything in this article you read about, or the interview with Pat McAfee, that indicates how the players might feel about something like that?
Yeah, right now the Players Union is against it, which is going to be their knee jerk.
Doesn't
but you know what?
surprise me.
if the NFL says it's going to happen, they're just going to have the opportunity to bitch. They can't not do it if that's what the NFL says.
You are
right?
dealing now with a behemoth that has, I was just like you, where I was saying scam. It is the TV
They are
revenue.
Mike, they are so powerful, though.
They're
NFL
so
is
powerful, and their
powerful.
TV revenue, there is no sport more designed for television ad revenue than the NFL.
They grew up
And
together, essentially. I mean,
They
television,
did.
yeah, and football.
They did, but when if you had told me, Rob, and you know this, 10 years ago, that I would
Yeah.
be sitting down with my kid and waiting till the Giants had the 6th pick in the draft to see who they would get first, if I would be watching highlights this morning when he first got out of bed, that was a highlight reel of every New York Giants draft pick, I am now the less passionate fan, but I am the average fan. We are all drinking the Kool-Aid, and we are all taking the prime working months of the year where everybody is slaying the dragon and getting to that Sunday. So any opportunity, I look at it this way, any opportunity to have, especially with a game that starts at 6:30 at night, to have the next day free to chill out, I gotta get it. I know it disgusts you. You need to warm to the NFL.
No, you know what? I love the product. I'll give you that.
You would know. You do not. Now tell the truth.
No, Mike, I watch football every Sunday. Carrie likes it. It's the boys' home. We watch 3 games. I
Okay.
do like the product. But what makes me unhappy is the control that the NFL exerts, and they use it all the time. I've cited this before. When they made that movie called Concussion, that was a great movie that talked about football players being injured in long term. It went away in 10 days.
I get it.
And
get it.
I know that they flex their muscle for stuff like that. And in a way, it's hard for me to blame them because
I
when
think
you're
their
that
most
powerful,
recent story regarding that might have been they're allowed to wear these extra cushioning layers over their helmet now. That diminishes the chance of a head injury. They wear them in practice all the time. They don't wear them in my kids' practice. They should. There are a bunch of protocols.
but does it make
they
the
should do
helmet
with my
look
kids.
extra big like the Great Gazoo?
It makes the helmet look like the Great Gazoo. It does. It looks
does
doofy.
really?
It looks completely doofy. And you know what they're counting on? They're probably counting on the fact that the players, it's going to be a machismo thing where
Yeah,
they're not
they don't
going to
wanna
put
be
those things
yeah,
on top of their
exactly.
helmet. It's kind of like when they implemented the face masks into the NHL or even the helmets into the NHL.
Yeah.
You had that slow turnover for guys that wanted to be tough guys.
Well, Goodell's quote is, "That ends up on President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend."
You think, yeah, he's evil. He's
Yeah,
evil.
he is.
I get it.
So, anyway,
they quash that type of
Just
stuff.
we'll
you know.
see what happens. I think by the very fact that Goodell talked about it on a podcast, I think that means it's a done deal. So we'll see what happens.
Did
They
you
haven't
see
released
the
the schedule
wrestler-
this year, right? Have they?
Yeah, they've released perhaps the teams, but not exactly the dates and times. yet.
Okay, so they could still make it happen this year.
That's why I know that, because I'm a real ridiculous
You're
super
so
fan. We
proud.
have
Look
to
how
take a break.
proud you are.
When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a new taste treat for Rob Spiewak, and I wonder
Oh, I
whether
can't wait.
anybody else is digging it like my family is digging it, ladies and gentlemen. My family, I say that where I might not be sold on the product myself, but they love it. We will be right back with that and more fun right here. You are listening to the Mike O'Mara Show. Whoa. All right, this is the last day, folks. This is the last day you have for the official TMOS Don't Get Happy Society t-shirt. Now available. If you want to be a member in good standing of the TMOS Don't Get Happy Society, you need this official apparel. Official. Sanctioned by moi. This striking navy blue and gold t-shirt is available in all sizes and is also available in ladies' v-neck.
Ladies.
Sexy. These shirts are roomy. They are breathable. They are moisture wicking. Especially if you want to remove the moisture from the decollage or
Stop it.
decolletage.
Now you're trying the creepy method to move product?
They have PosiCharge technology,
Love
which is
it.
nice. Visit our store. It's open 24 hours, and we stop selling these at midnight. These shirts are only available till April 30th. That's today. Today, jerkface. Plus, pick up a Mike O'Mara Show koozie, required summertime paraphernalia. So, Hurry up and support the show you love. Every purchase keeps the laughs coming. TMOSstore.com, the source for all things TMOS, official, authentic, and awesome. Thank you for your support, and remember our wonderful motto, Robb Speed.
That's right. You'll love it at Levitt's.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
not it.
If you don't buy it, we won't sell it.
All right, I am looking up this product.
That's
to make
a singing
sure I've got
one.
it
You
right.
love it at Levitt's. It's a furniture store.
I don't have it right. I knew I didn't have it right. I brought it to the show. This is what is being devoured in our house right
Is
now.
it sweet or savory?
It's called Mochi. Are you familiar?
Oh, Julia loves it. It looks disgusting to me.
All right, let me see if there is just an explanation of what Mochi is. All right, Mochi is a Japanese product, and I want to make sure I get it right when it is ice cream. Mochi is ice cream, a confection made from Japanese mochi with an ice cream filling. It was invented by Japanese-American businesswoman and community activist Frances Hashimoto, with help from her husband. There, I found it. I've got the detailed description of it. It's a small, round confection consisting of a soft, pounded, sticky rice dumpling formed around an ice cream filling. The ice cream adds flavor and creaminess to the confection, while the mochi adds sweetness and texture. And that's where they lose me. I am just not sure how sweet the mochi rice dough is, but Julia's eating it up too.
I have seen her devour a box of them, and I think it would. Mike, this goes back to my drinking days, so I can't tell you for sure. I think that I found the texture off-putting because it sort of slides around in your mouth.
And they put like a flour.
Yes.
It's not powdered sugar, it's flour. And I like my desserts sweet. I mean, if you're going to have a sweet, have a sweet.
Exactly.
You can eat.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. The whole
the
thing is
time
that.
today.
They come in flavors. If you haven't tried, now
strawberry,
have you tried it?
right, is one of them.
You've tried it, I take it?
Yeah, I think I have, but it was some time ago, a few years ago.
Chocolate, strawberry, other flavors such as Kona coffee, plum wine, green tea, and red bean.
Gross.
That might be savory. Mochi can also be flavored as a complement to the ice cream filling. When making mochi, it is dusted with either, it's not even flour. It's dusted with either potato or cornstarch
so
to
it
keep
won't
it
stick.
from caking while being formed and handled.
All right, Mike, here's a slight footnote to this story.
Yes.
Stop making green tea. Stop making things that taste like green tea. Green tea has no flavor. Don't do green tea.
Well,
and
tea
red
doesn't
bean
really.
has nowhere to... You don't want red bean anywhere near a dessert. What is that, red bean?
I don't know if it's a dessert or it's a savory item, but
we're having
it is
mochi for
wildly
dinner.
Popular. I'm talking about it's in our freezer, and 2 days later, we got 5 packages in there, and 2 days later it's gone. And it comes in these little plastic egg cartons, and I see them periodically around the house because people are going. And I don't know what I'm missing because they are so wildly popular. And I almost wonder if they're more popular with women than men, but my kid likes them, and he's my son, and
I
he
think
likes
it's
them
youthful. I think it's a youthful thing that for a while the Japanese bubble sodas were real popular among kids that had like
It says here,
blobs
mochi
of goo.
ice cream gained huge popularity in the UK following a viral TikTok trend, which began in January of 2021. There it is, if you want to know what starts things in the world. The trend of looking for little moons in big Tesco became a sensation. I have no idea what I'm reading. Receiving 341.8 million views and a surge in sales of 14% in Tesco alone.
People are all about weird food and they love their weird stuff, but I'll tell you what's better than mochi is a good humor almond bar. Give me that any day.
A Haagen-Dazs almond chocolate bar with vanilla ice cream.
Also great. Oh, yeah. Well,
I
most
know the
of
one
the
you like.
Haagen-Dazs products.
If you had to choose between the Haagen-Dazs and the Costco ice cream bar, which would you choose?
I would go with the Costco.
Because it's why? Why? What would
Well,
be your
it's
reason?
they are very, very particular about their fat content and mouthfeel, and also it's cheaper.
How do you
So
know
what's
that?
not to like?
How do you know that they're particular about their mouthfeel? How
Have
do
you
know?
ever had just a bowl of Costco vanilla ice cream, the kind you have to buy 2 half-gallons together?
No.
It's the
I'm
best
sorry.
vanilla ice cream.
I was reading something else. I apologize.
It's the best vanilla ice cream you've ever had. It's so good. Wow.
Okay.
Dense
Well, then,
and sweet. and
there's
nice.
that, but you shouldn't be eating it. They conceived the idea of taking small orbs of ice cream. This is Francis Hashimoto.
Orbs.
And wrapping them in a Japanese traditional mochi rice cake. Francis expanded on her husband's idea, inventing the fusion dessert, now popular, Mikawaya.
Okay.
Mikawaya is a company in America. They began production of mochi ice cream in the United States in '93. It's been around for a while. Research and development took over a decade ago to evolve into mass production. And Mikawaya debuted their mochi ice cream in '94. Frozen treat was so popular it captured 15% of the novelty frozen treat market during its first 4 months. Mochi ice cream gained huge popularity in the UK. I mentioned that already.
Yeah,
so that's all I have on mochi.
Asian food is so good. Chinese food restaurants and Japanese food restaurants, they always drop the ball on dessert. They always do.
I'm trying to think. I don't think of going to one of those Habachi grills where you sit across from the redneck family who doesn't speak.
Yes.
Am I right about that? Really?
You're absolutely right.
It is a dining form that is designed for social interaction, and it is populated in the United States by people too shy to talk.
I am
Just clicks and grunt.
I am overtly open when we go to a hibachi restaurant.
You want to socialize.
I
right?
do, absolutely.
Do you start it with your Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis greeting when you sit down? Do you start it with that?
How you been?
How you been? You working? That's interesting. We got to take a break. Mochi, please ask for it by
None for
name.
me, thanks. None for
Okay.
me.
We will pass on that, and when we come back, it is the side of Flip. You,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, are listening to the Mike O'Mara Show, whoa, whoa, and I'm going back to my original product here, my Mochi Mouse. I'm very, very excited about that.
Just
Let's
supposed to
enjoy
be a
him.
backup.
This spring, get out there, enjoy the weather, and recapture the magic of riding a bike with electric e-bike. With an amazing variety of models built for riders of all abilities, it's never been easier to fall in love with riding again. Plus, every electric e-bike ships free and only requires quick, toolless assembly.
Easy.
Electric has e-bikes that start at just $799 with XP Lite. You can save on gas, parking, and maintenance, and financing starts as low as $49 per month. Plus, data shows that e-bike riders take their bike out more often, meaning more exercise, exploration, and fresh air. Go full throttle into spring with electric e-bikes, the #1 selling e-bikes in the nation. Get your adventure started at electricebikes.com, and please mention that the Mike O'Mara Show sent you in the post-checkout survey. That's LECTRIC ebikes.com. Take it away, Rob Spiewak.
The flip side.
Mike, it's the price of paradise.
Are you talking about where I live?
Yes.
Oh,
Have you been aware of all the these shenanigans with the insurance companies, particularly Progressive?
I know that many insurance companies have moved out of the area because they don't want to insure places that are in the
Mike,
flood
it's
zones.
even more sinister than that.
Back now covering the price of paradise. And once again, a viewer reached out to us here at ABC Action News telling us Progressive Insurance dropped their coverage. And now he fears he may soon be priced out.
Yeah, he's frustrated with the process of finding a new insurance company. ABC Action News reporter Nadine Yanez today got answers for him.
We got this email from Ira Cadston in Bradenton. He says he just got his letter of non-renewal from Progressive, one of thousands of Floridians who are now being dropped by Progressive. But his frustrations don't end there, as he is now researching a new insurance company. He says the information out there is little to none for consumers. So we went out to speak with him today.
Dear policyholder, your policy will expire.
Mike, that could so be one of your neighbors.
It sucks. And you
and
know
it's
what?
right before hurricane season.
Of
right
course
before
it is.
hurricane
And
season.
you're talking about astronomical profits, all right? You are talking about astronomical profits. And you know what? It's the price of doing business to live at the, in a flood area. Thank God I am just outside of one. Otherwise, I would be in the same boat as these people. With that said,
right.
This is a big, deep issue. You're ignoring realities. You're ignoring realities of the way of the world. You're wondering, you can't just wide-eyed go into buying a house that's on the coastline where there was 6 feet of water a year or two ago and think that there's not going to be some hesitation on the part of these. There's a lot of blame to go around, is my point. You got to have your eyes open.
But Mike, I just want to make sure that your insurance hasn't been doubled in price or canceled right before.
I get my insurance from Tommy DeVito Insurance, and it's worked well for me. They say,
do you buy it at his used car lot? Is that where he sells it?
And they said if disaster happens, you can pretty much count on us. That's their slogan. Pretty much.
I understand if it's a total loss, don't they have you to his mom's house for dinner?
Yeah, and for at least 2 weeks, all the mochi I can eat.
Delicious. Mike, Conan O'Brien is he does some media now that he doesn't have his regular show on
Got a good
the networks anymore. The thing about his podcast that I find amazing, he allows himself to appear unlikable and kind of a dick sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So he's really real that way. But this I found out that I did not know. Before he was the Conan we know, and I think after he was on The Simpsons, he wrote for Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
And that's when Saturday Night Live and Dave Letterman were still in the same building at NBC. And he revealed this, and I think this is kind of neat.
They had like a covering over his desk to protect it. Our studios were at 9. He was in 6A, which is the studio I eventually took over. But I didn't know that was going to happen. And I would sit at Dave's desk, and I had Dave's perspective, and I would sit there and I would work on a sketch. And then this crazy situation develops. 1 in a billion chance where I get a chance to audition for that show and then get it. But if you had told me that when I was sitting behind Dave's desk as a Saturday Night Live writer, I'd have said there's no way.
Isn't that wild that he would go down and uncover and write at Dave's desk?
His podcast is
Needs a friend.
Really real. I mean, I don't want to say I find similarities, but I do find similarities where they just go down, kind of a shticky riff once in a while, and it's fun.
I prefer the segments with his producer and his lady assistant than the actual interviews. Yeah,
a lot of fun. Absolutely. Yeah, because really the interviewing, you go back through all of these. I include even Jimmy Kimmel in this. Mm-hmm. And the interviewing is not the same as when you went back to Carson, who had great research on his guests and would let them go.
Yeah,
that's what I still like.
Exactly
I like a lot of these comedy writers, comedians, Jay Leno, even Letterman to an extent, wouldn't let people go as much as they should.
Well, because people would be worried to go on without a game plan. They wouldn't want to go.
Exactly.
They were scared of it. So,
exactly.
Meanwhile, Mike, here's a palate cleanser. In Washington State, sadly, a broken down truck means zebras are on the loose.
What is happening? Oh my God.
They're dangerous. They can bite.
Yeah, they are. And there's 4 of them running around in the suburbs.
Yeah, they're mean. They can be mean. In case you don't know that, if you see a zebra, come on.
I don't know why I find that as funny as I do.
I do too. Show up right again. Just see them popping out.
Yeah.
This is funny when they're running up the driveway. It's like,
when you see their zebra asses.
Yeah, there they go. The zebra asses are funny. Here they go. Blip, 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 blip. Zebra asses coming up the driveway.
So if you're in Washington State, please watch out for zebra ass. And,
did you get the video that I sent you this morning?
I replied to it. I don't think it's appropriate for our program.
Really?
But
damn it.
I know, but I did say
okay, let me ask this. All right, and we can discuss this.
Okay.
Do you think it's because the gentleman is infirmed or because he is under the influence of a substance?
I think it's because he's infirm.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Well, in that case, I would honor your judgment.
But I did put, Mike, you'll enjoy the reply that it might have involved spitting tea this morning.
Yeah,
not spilling tea, but spitting tea.
You have to admit, fantastic. Right?
Oh, I wish I'd thought of it. As all great comedy things, as I said, I wish I'd thought of it first. Let's close with this, Mike. If you wanted to find a warmer, more personable, good person, you'd look no further than Dave Attell. And here's comedian Dave Attell. We close with Dave Attell talking about how he loves his mother. Bless her heart, 87 years old.
Old people, they need companionship. Loneliness, that's right, is one of the big killers of elderly. Loneliness and salt. Loneliness. I'm a good son. I would not put up with that. You know what I did? I signed her up for OnlyFans. Yeah, that's what I did. I did the photography. I took a tasteful pic, I'm talking very tasteful, of her trying to get out of her shower chair. And you know what? Like a mermaid. Yes. She looked like a mermaid. By that I mean wet and she couldn't walk. Either way. Can a boy love his mother anymore? Is that a crime?
It's not a crime, Mike. It's not a crime.
My God. And nobody is more self-aware than Attell about the way he looks.
I know.
He is the creepiest looking man I have ever seen on a stage anywhere in my life. So check it out. He's got a special, too.
Mike, bless his heart.
Bless his heart. Bless Dave Attell's heart. We got to get out of here. We'll be back with a brand new episode tomorrow. This is the last day.
Oh, my God.
To get your Don't Get Happy Society t-shirt. After tonight at midnight, they're gone. You can't get them anymore. So please go to the website. We got them in all the sizes. We got them in the ladies' V-neck as well. It's your navy blue and gold lettered DGH Don't Get Happy Society t-shirt available till midnight tonight. Last day today. We appreciate it. For Robb Spiewak, the great and powerful Oz, and all of our wonderful listeners, this is Mike O'Mara saying so long, everybody.
Midnight Eastern. So long.
Want more? Make sure you check out the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show. Get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
I got nowhere else to go!
I'll recommend your services to anyone I know who has diabetes.
The president has that big stick.
Right. So what do you want now?
Well, if I have to teach you how to be a reporter, Ollie, I'll do that later.